makes her bid for a little piece of history.
Hello and welcome to the Run of the Race, where we are getting ready to dissect everything that happened on Saturday's 9-race program. Mark Warwood, 9 races now on a Saturday, 7 on a Wednesday and 9 on a Saturday with the inclusion of this West Speed Platinum race.
Yeah, Rawa asked Perth Racing whether we'd be happy with it. I think it's a good thing. It means that there's more races when people can get to the track. The whole game is built around betting turnover, and I think there'll be more betting turnover on the 9 races on Saturday than the 7 races on the Wednesday. And of course, we've got this new race as well to encourage people who've got West Speed Platinum horses.
That's right, and that was the first race of the day, this new West Speed Platinum race. They'll alternate between maidens and no Metro win races, so be looking forward to those on a Saturday. Let's take a look at this one, and it was taken out by Chimel.
600 left to go in the bright pink colours on the inside. Sensational with a narrow lead coming to the turn from Bruce Almighty. A length and a half to Hendy Lass, who's in the box seat coming around the corner. About to peel off and go 3 deep is Chimel, followed then by Alien from Mars, called upon by McGruddy. And right behind them, Tinto Bell looking for a gap between horses. And from the back is Misquoted starting to make ground. At the 200 though, Chimel on the outside, ranges up. There's a run for Hendy Lass, good enough to come through. Sensational battling back. Chimel ducked in there. Hendy Lass got absolutely polack. Chimel's got a head in front from Sensational, and Chimel wins it. Well, Chimel's got the...
Well, there was a bit of carnage in the finish there, and Lisa Staples, despite getting the win, did get handed a 12-day suspension. So she will have to take a little break, but I do believe that her and Craig are taking a holiday anyway with him out with injury. But from a form perspective, it's a race that hasn't rated well, and that's no surprise given that it is a maiden.
No, I'm actually going to forget Chimel out of this race. It was a marginal personal best performance to win the race, and I think Chimel's going to be very, very hard to win another city race given his performance on Saturday. I'm going to forgive Henty Gull. That was the horse probably most impeded in the carnage in the straight, was crowded and checked and dipped about 100 metres from home. And I'll follow Alien from Mars, finished 4th. It was its debut, nearly a year after its really impressive trial for Bob Turrell. Was wide, it was also bumped in the race. I think if another horse is going to win a race out of this one, it might well be Alien from Mars.
And Bob did say that he probably needed a run. It was coming in first up without a trial. Having missed that trial, he thought that it may have needed the run, and that what we see with these West Speed Platinum races is they'll go round pretty much the same fields in another fortnight's time. That one over 1,200 metres, so we'll be looking out for Alien from Mars on that occasion. All right, the next race, this one was for the new season 3-year-olds with the horses celebrating their birthday on Thursday. This was the first time we saw these horses assemble as 3-year-olds.
They head past the 650, and still back there last is Royal Schwarcia. In the direction of the home corner now, they put the 550 behind them, and That's Funny As will bring them around the bend. That's Funny As, 3/4 to a length on Apache Pass. 2 lengths behind them, Rocky Path, Vital Image. Now further back in the field, Flying God and Blackwater Bay, still about 5 off the leaders. Down by the 300 though, That's Funny As, tackled by Rocky Path, is off the fence, and Apache Pass sticks on. Don't like the favourite, not doing enough back in the field. That's Funny As, Rocky Path head and head with Apache Pass. Rocky Path, That's Funny As, Apache Pass. There's a great finish coming up. They went to it, it's close.
Well, there was nothing in that finish. That's Funny As led a pretty moderate tempo, 5 lengths slower than benchmark, and Apache Pass was coming home 1.5 lengths better than benchmark and was able to get the bob.
Yeah, it wasn't a great race. This very much on speed dominated. I will follow Apache Pass out at the race. Fastest sectionals on its debut last time out. That was an incident packed race as well. Fastest last 2 and 400 to win on Saturday. And boy, wasn't Lindsay Smith in good form after the race. Forgetting Flying God, this horse was 4th in running. I thought it was a pretty poor debut. Slowest sectionals, and was the middle priced at 3 runners from the Vaughan Sidley yard. And I will forgive Blackwater Boy. Adam Durant has got a massive opinion of this horse. It was pretty green. He may well want further, but he was a touch disappointing.
Okay, let's take a look at the next race. Now, we didn't have to wait long for the race of the day. This was a serious win by Essential Spice. Take a look at this last 600 metre figure.
The rails, Cognac 4 3/4 denim pack. Wide on the track, then is Transgressor. After that very slow start, Glasgow Girls worked through 3rd from last on the inside of Essential Spice, who's back there in company with Pims Royale. Into the straight, 350 to go, and it's Ice Maker shaken up 1.5 lengths. Dia Della Razza, Royale at Cognac on the rail. Here's Essential Spice down the outside with Transgressor. Pims Royale getting a split as well. On the outside, Essential Spice with 100 to go, surges past them. Essential Spice gapped them, raced away 2, 3, 4 in front in the twinkling of an eye, and Essential Spice.
What a performance this was. She has run home the final 600 in 32.58. That's 11 lengths better than benchmark, and she's being given 6 points from the handicapper.
Fastest 1,000 metre race at Belmont all year, won by Essential Spice. We'll come back to her. We'll forgive Glasgow girl, unsettled in the gates, dwelt, lost a couple of lengths there, was then held up in the straight, came back with a bit of blood in her nostril, completely forgive the run. Forget Royalic. This is the sixth trainer that Royalic's had, Kieran McDonough, unplaced in all 7 of its starts since winning at Ballarat on a heavy track. And clearly you've got to follow Essential Spice out of this race. Only 0.1 of a length off what was already a very good personal best rating. I cannot believe she didn't start favourite on Saturday. And if the Pierce boys are going to take Angelic Ruler to Melbourne, surely they should be taking her too.
And interestingly, that personal best is over 1,200 and Saturday's race was over 1,000. So she's clearly just as effective over an extra furlong. So looking forward to seeing how she progresses through the grades. Let's take a look at race number 4, where Lucy Warwick had the choice of a number of mounts and she chose correctly in the end. Here comes Lenny, ran away with it.
It's Black Russian over on the outside next of all, coming towards the home corner. Here comes Lenny, has rolled away from the fence to follow Black Russian to the turn. Friar Away is under heavy pressure. On the fence, Nawadaroo dealing, calling it a day. Further back is My Fair Beauty. They're at the top of the home straight. Uncle Lino joined by Eldalar. Eldalar reaches the lead. 300 to go. Now the charge comes from Here Comes Lenny. Here comes Lenny surging at the 200 mark. Races up, grabs them quickly. Black Russian battling away. So's Magic Las Vegas. But Here Comes Lenny drifting out towards the middle of the track, but running away from them. Here Comes Lenny, scored by nearly 3. Magic Las Vegas.
Here comes Lenny, recording just a benchmark performance, but really was running away with it with a horse that seems to be quite a progressive type.
Yeah, not the greatest of races here, not too many horses to follow. We'll forgive Dealing, finished 14th, bled for the first time, so gets that mandatory ban of the 3 months. Lee Newman eased him down after he compounded around 800 metres from home. Forgetting Aldelar here, went round at much more realistic odds on Saturday, but had every chance on what was a slow tempo. And we will follow Here Comes Lenny. Went from winning at Northern by 4 lengths to winning in town by 3 1/4 lengths, and did make a bit of a mess of him at the end.
And the punters got it right with Here Comes Lenny, was well supported. And speaking of well supported, this next race was probably the best go of the day. $8 into $3.50 for Black Shadow, which is probably surprising considering he was coming off a fairly low rated win at Pinjarra, but they ran along, and courtesy of a brilliant ride by Jason, he was able to get the victory.
Length and a half away then is Proxy, back there with a bit sketchy. Over on the inside, Purist, and still last is 4 White Fox, and with the task in front of it, 450 left to travel. Nearing the home corner though, and Redosona ridden along, coming into the bend, led the way from Play Hard. Blue Horse is getting out near the inside. Black Shadow lets down quickly though, and then 2 or 3 lengths behind them, Sonnen, followed by the Escort. Black Shadow at the 200, ranges up, grabs the lead from Blue Horse. Redosona beat the bell further back, runs on. It's Black Shadow with 100 left to go though. Away now, 2 in front from Blue Horse, then Sonnen, followed by the Escort. It's Black Shadow. Black Shadow much too good, one clearly from Blue Horse. And
Black Shadow winning there. Now prior to Saturday, he'd never even broken benchmark, but he's smashed the clock to record an overall figure of -4.3.
Yeah, he clearly is the follow horse out of this race. He was absolutely smashed in betting markets on Saturday. A good rating performance as well, and still eligible for this graduation grade. So Black Shadow next start, follow that horse. Forget 4 White Fox, drifted in the betting, was slow all way. Not even William Pike could get 4 White Fox into a prominent position. And if you go back through that horse's form, it's around Aldilar as well, who we've already sacked. And Forgive Play Hard, cast a plate, worked really hard in the early stages from what was a wide gate under Molly Clark. Total Forgive run.
Okay, that is 5 races down, 4 to go. We'll do that right after this break.
Turning up for a picnic with chicken chunks? Ooh, orkies. Turning up for a picnic on a horse? Delightful. Life's better with horses. See you at the races.
Welcome back to the run of the race, where we are up to race number 6, and going into this race the market had it pegged as a race into Unitime and Lipstick Flickers, and when we looked at the data, Unitime clearly had the best last start figure, minus 6.3. Now admittedly the concern might have been that Unitime would get a bit far back, but this race was run 7 lengths slower to the 600, and therefore Unitime was able to settle a lot closer to the pace.
Over on the inside, Excellent Jerry running third, Unitime fourth, and Lipstick Flickers down near the inside of Wok and Woll. More than a length behind them, Sax on cue, steadying as they come into the home corner, held up for a run. Further back, Dark Royalty, Go Crying, Why Choose Her, well back in the field. Into the straight, ATM just wobbled off the fence. Excellent Jerry about to capitalise. Tycoon Mikado joins in. Lipstick Flickers switching back inside of heels there from Unitime. ATM the leader, Lipstick Flickers, and now in behind them Tycoon Mikado, Wok and Woll, Go Crying charging. Unitime hits the lead though. Unitime comes away. Unitime went on to score from Lipstick.
Unitime winning there, landed in a beautiful position in running and just showed that bit of versatility on Saturday.
I thought he was very, very good. I know he was, his rating was significantly lower than his first up run, but that was a very high rating performance, particularly for a Wednesday. And I think even though he landed in a good spot here, he's very much capable of a higher rating than that. I think he would have preferred a faster tempo. He's clearly the follow horse here, and the punters got it horribly wrong as well. They backed Lipstick Flickers and Unitime drifted out to $3.40. I'll forgive Go Crying here. First up without a trial, was pretty keen as well. Fastest last 2, 6 and 800 metres and was too far back given the tempo. And we'll forget Barley King Prawn. Lost a lot of ground at the start, tired from the 400 and has been restricted from the city region.
All right, the next race was won by Festival Miss. This race set up really nicely for her because they went fast up front. Friar's Gift and Key to Fame were going about 5 lengths above average, and it set it up really nicely for Festival Miss.
Trapped out there 3 deep at the 650 around Grey Enigma. Luke's Gold inside of those. And still last is Cryptic Love nearing the corner. They put the 450 behind them. Friar's Gift and Key to Fame have gone at one another right from the word go. And Harvey makes his move with Misty Lad. Around the outside, he gathered them in quickly. Lord Ludlow searches for the inside run and pikes into the clear with Festival Miss. And here comes the favourite, Festival Miss. He hasn't moved at the 200. Now he does. He shakes her up and she quickly drops off Misty Lad. Pearl Trade runs on, so does Cryptic Love. It's Festival Miss. She wanted to switch off. Pike shook her up again though. Got her mind back focused on the job at hand, and Festival Miss won it by a length.
Festival Miss winning there, but what about the run on there by Cryptic Love? Had to settle way back at last courtesy of a wide gate, but really flashed home.
Yeah, I think that's clearly the follow horse out of this race, Cryptic Love. Threw its head shortly after the start, fastest sectionals. And not only the format of this race, but you go back through, Cryptic Love runs this preparation, very strong form lines there. Cryptic Love, I thought, was a good thing beaten on Saturday. Key to Fame finished 11th. This is the Forget horse here. Was challenged by Friar's Gift and will now leave Simon Miller's stable. That's what he told the stewards after the race. And I will forgive Friar's Gift here. Was taken on for the lead by Key to Fame and went far too fast as a consequence.
And we saw that. Those first 2 horses in running were the horses that finished last and second last. So just a little bit too quick for them. All right, the next race, this one's the new season sprint, and on paper, the speed map looked very easy. It looked like it would all set up quite easily, but races aren't run on paper, and it turned out a little bit differently in the run, but ultimately Lockroy was too good.
Bizarre, reasonably compact. Rebel King taken on now by Don't Fuss. Chris Parnham looks for the lead here at the 500. Don't Fuss goes up and now gets about 3/4 to a length. Rebel King. And over on the outside, How to Fly straightened up running third. Saracino about to let go. They're followed by Lockroy getting strung up in a bit of traffic down on the inside of Damn Ready. Further back is Prophet Street at the 200 though. And Don't Fuss is the leader, a length and a half. Rebel King around its heels comes again with Saracino. Don't Fuss the leader from Rebel King, and now Lockroy is finishing brilliantly. Lockroy ranges up, dives, don't know if he got
A great performance by Lockroy. He was held up, but once he saw daylight, he's been able to get home with a figure of -7 for the last 600.
We'll come back to him. We'll start with a Forgive horse. That's Couleur Bazaar. Finished 7th. This is a Bunbury Cup winner, resuming over 1,000 metres without a trial. It really was a paid-for barrier trial for Couleur Bazaar. Forgive that horse. Forget How to Fly was the worst of the on-speed brigade. Second slowest sectionals home. They didn't go particularly quick, certainly not for a $100,000 race. And I will follow Lockroy out of this race. He hasn't won a black type event, but he could certainly break his duck in the Newmarket. However, there's some interesting figures regarding Don't Fuss, Brett.
There really is. I think this Newmarket sets up to be a really interesting race. Over 1,200 metres, so they step up the 200. But Don't Fuss, all of his best figures are actually over the 1,200 metres. When you look back at his past 3 performances over further than 1,000, you have a minus 4.5 over 1,200, a minus 7.1, which is his personal best, over 1,200, and over 1,100, a minus 5.9. Whereas all his figures over the 1,000 are all pretty much consistent around that minus 2. So we could see him elevate in a Newmarket. I think it will be a really intriguing race.
Yeah, Lockroy's probably racing better than he's done for quite some time though. It's going to be a fascinating contest there amongst the older sprinters.
Really looking forward to that. There was one more race to come on Saturday, given our 9-race card, and if you're on Chick's Pick, look away now because this one belonged to Taxigano.
Greek boy down on the inside, covered by Oliver's Travels. A length and a half in love with Paris. Going up now, continuing to improve on the inside of Big Caroline. Outside of those is Taxigano. Right off the track is Multiverse, and Chick's Pick is right behind it. Followed further back on the rails by Nikitas. War God inside the 300 though. It led more than a length. Free Trade again coming. A length and a half, 2 in love with Paris, and down the outside Taxigano with its run, and Chick's Pick's joining in ahead of Multiverse. At the 100 they're across the track. Taxigano and Chick's Pick, they've gone to the lead together. Taxigano, Chick's Pick diving. Oh, it's again another tight go.
A tight finish there, but Taxigano got the bob. Who makes the files here, Mark?
Taxigano does, but it's the forget. This horse has been a follow galloper in the past, but I really do think he's found his mark. You look at his ratings, they're all around the same level, around -1 or around 0. There's plenty of horses to sack in this race, like Oliver's Travels and Atlanta Blue, but I'm going to go with the top one, which is Taxigano. I will forgive My Greek Boy. Sean McGrady rode the horse on Saturday, reported a noise. They also did a vet's examination, and the horse was found to be coughing. Following Chick's Picks, poor old David Harrison had a pretty tough day at the end of Saturday's meeting, was impeded for half of the straight. Pat Carberry had to stop riding around 100 metres from home, still posted the fastest sectionals and got beat that much.
A number of these horses had flashing lights on from the Harrison stable, so ones to perhaps follow going forward. Speaking of horses with a flashing light on, I think there was one performance of the day that visually just stood out above and beyond anything else, and what do the sectionals say?
It's all about Essential Spice. Best overall rating of the day, -8.8. The best class rating of the day, -8.4. And the fastest closing sectionals. She dominated the meeting and she is a superstar.
It was a serious performance. She really stamped her talent on Saturday afternoon. All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll see how our tipsters fared on the other side of this.
Arriving for a hot date on a moped. Disappointing. Arriving for a hot date on a horse? Fantastic! Life's better with horses. See you at the races.
Welcome back to the run of the race, where it is time, as it is every week, to have a look at how our tipsters fared. And this week you could be off to a flyer.
Certainly could have done. Chimel in the first race paid $16.70 and $3.50 to place. That was the highest priced galloper of the day in the tipping competition. Taxigano in the last race paid nearly $14 as well, but Chimel was the key. You needed Chimel.
I think if you could find the bookend of the meeting, you were doing quite well with Taxigano's nice price as well. What did our winner manage to find?
He was the only one that had Chimel and the big bet, and so he led all the way. His name is Nicholas Gow. He had Chimel, Apache Pass, Essential Spice, Unitime, Festival Miss and Lockroy. So 6 of the 9 winners. He had a collecting race 4 as well with Magic Las Vegas. 1,614 points, won by quite some margin.
Well done to you, Nick. Hopefully you had a few of your own dollars on some of those. It was a profitable weekend for you. Does it get him into the top 8 leaderboard?
No, it doesn't. He missed 8 tips earlier in the competition, so he's put himself at a disadvantage. Glenn Montague of Montague Partners continues to lead, but his lead is down from what it was the previous week. He's down to about 160 points now over Daniel Barnard. And
I did see Glenn's wife on the weekend, and she said he's getting very stressed about holding this lead, trying very hard to hold it, but Daniel Barnard is really closing in quickly. Another opportunity to do it all again with this Saturday's 9-race program. We'll see you next week.
He makes her bid for a little piece of history.